Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Oh God, this is my 4th post-game show. 3 of them we've won, this one we haven't, and we did not expect this. Anyway, thanks for joining us. I know it's not easy after a loss. Trust me, I didn't really want to do a show. I never want to do a show after a loss. But here we are. You can vent to us. We're going to answer your questions. But first of all, let me introduce my guests. Down below me is Albert. Albert of, I don't even know how to say it, JLTV? I can't read.
Albert JTV.
Albert JTV.
Yeah,
Albert's been with me on a few shows. Welcome back, darling, to the show. How are you?
I'm all right for seeing you two guys, but as for the performance, we'll dissect that thoroughly.
We will. Tonight. Let me introduce my other guest, who I was on a podcast only with last week, Jamesy Cookie, when we had Gunner Blog on. And it was all lovely, wasn't it, James?
Yeah, I wish we were doing that again. But yeah, I've been better to say the least. But I mean, it's going to give us something different to talk about because it's been, it's all been very good recently. But it's something a bit different. So spicing it up a little bit. So yeah, in a weird way, looking forward to it.
Absolutely not. I'm not looking forward to it at all. But I'm glad you are, Cookie. I'm glad you are. So I'm going to start this show off by saying I tweeted earlier today that any progress this year would have been to see us in the Europa League. I had a feeling this morning, this has always been the game that I've worried about. Patrick Vieira, under the lights, Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace are not a bad side. We know what they can do. We know how good Zaha is, which we'll go into in a moment. And I just had a feeling I did not fancy this. So boys, you see, how have you felt today, James? Have you felt confident? Did you think we had a chance, or... I'm assuming you didn't think it was going to go as bad as it did.
Yeah, you're definitely right in saying that. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I was entirely convinced we'd get the win in this game because like you've just said, Palace are a really good team. They're really solid. But on the flip side, I was looking at this game thinking we've got all the components there to win it. This is a Palace side that, as good as people are saying they have been, and they have been really good. They've been very solid. They have only won 7 Premier League games, obviously 8 games now. But so they're not like, ruthlessly winning games. They are a side that I think is winnable against, but they had drawn something like 13 games in the league, so obviously hard to beat. And they've just blown us out of the water this evening, and I've got no complaints. I can hold my hands up and say we lost to the better team by a million miles.
But did you fancy it?
Yeah, of course.
You did. I didn't.
I fancied us to. I fancy us to win pretty much every game. When you look at the way we were playing before the international break, I was really feeling quite edgy going into that game against Aston Villa. And then we came out of that game with a really good result. I think that was more down to Villa not playing so well. So, yeah, I did feel good going into this game. I think it was more when I saw the team lineup that I felt quite unsettled. I mean, losing Tierney is obviously a big blow, and I wasn't expecting Tavares to come off at half time and put in the level of performance.
Right, let's back up a second. Hold on, James. We're going to.
It's all right now. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I know. I just want Albert to come in. So James was quite confident. I wasn't today. Where were you, Albert? In the middle or not?
No, I was very clear. I actually had us down for a draw today because Palace are, like you said, Palace are a good side. You know what? They should have beat us at the Emirates. To be honest with you, they should have beaten us. But you know what? They was unbeaten in 6 coming into the game tonight. Well, they're unbeaten in 7 now. But it's a they got some good offensive players that can hurt you. And this is not the Palace side under Roy Hodgson. This is a completely different playing style in Palace. So I was definitely concerned. But like James mentioned, we had the components in our team to actually get a result. But the way Palace started the game, we did the complete opposite. They was very sharp. They were aggressive. Conor Gallagher has been exceptional this season, and the minute Xhaka or Partey got the ball, he was on them. They pressed brilliantly, but Amanda, Arsenal shouldn't really have been surprised the way Palace started.
Right. So the team comes out. We're all gutted, obviously, because of Tierney's injury. Tavares starts. No one's that positive about him starting. Everyone's a little bit concerned on social media. You've got Cedric against Zaha, and that was just a nightmare. Zaha is such a good player. I know we speak about him often, but he really is such a great player. And how strong he is and athletic. It felt a little bit in the first half like men against boys. Did you feel like that, James? Or so? Talk us through the first 20 minutes.
Oh, do I have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got to go through it.
I'm not going to go into excruciating detail about it, but I mean, the best way I can summarize is that it was so reminiscent of those away games against mid-table sides in the late Wenger era. It was almost a carbon copy of when we went to Palace and lost 3-0. And, there were those horrible chants towards Hector Bellerin. I mean, you have to say at the time, rightly or wrongly, they were, you can't really argue that they weren't justified because we were playing so badly at that period in time. And it was just horrible. I mean, I don't think the atmosphere around the club at the minute is nowhere near at that level. And I was pleased to hear actually that, even towards the end of the game, you still had Arsenal supporters chanting, supporting the team. And I think that shows just how far we've come. And even though tonight was a really bad night, there's still a lot to play for, and we shouldn't be too down in the dumps. Obviously, there's concerns that we'll go into, but that first 20 minutes, like I say, it was just old school. It was in a bad way. It was just not how I want this Arsenal team to be playing anymore. And I was just thinking the other day how far we've come. We don't go away to any team now and get battered 3, 4, 5-0. And it's just all come flooding back tonight. I don't think the international break has helped. It's really upset our rhythm. Not that I'm using that as an excuse, but the Tierney injury, Partey going off injured. There's a lot of things that arguably went against us tonight. Not that I'm using any of those as an excuse, but our rhythm has definitely been upset. And all we can do now is dust ourselves off and go in that game against Brighton, all guns blazing, because that's definitely a winnable game. We had those performances against Man United and Everton back in December. We came back from them. There's still a hell of a lot to play for this season, but we have to put it right on Saturday. Simple as that.
Oh, it's massive Saturday. So I would like to say, Albert, where did it all go wrong? But we haven't got all night. So
no, we haven't. No.
Do we just put it down to a bad day at the office? Do we just put it down to Crystal Palace coming out, tearing us a new one, and we just didn't not turn up that first half? And to be honest, although we had a bit of a better second half, it wasn't that much better, was it?
Yeah, you know what? The bad day in the office thing is plausible, but I think where it falls a bit short is listen, they gave us an indication of what kind of team they were when they came to the Emirates, and that's quite a while ago now. Arteta and his coaching team would have been aware of Palace's strengths, particularly at Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
And you know what? If there's one team you play in the Premier League away from home, I think Smithy mentioned in the commentary where you have to start well. Palace away.
Yeah,
you don't start well, it sets the tone for the rest of the game. And actually, Amanda, when they scored, I think it got worse. The passing was terrible.
Partey and oh my god! I mean, we could list them all, couldn't we, Albert? But
Partey does have that about him, even though he's been playing really well the last few months. There's some passes he does, Amanda. I'm screaming at the television. I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? But we showed no attacking impetus. But you know what? To be honest, you have to give credit to Palace's defense. Tyrick Mitchell's been exceptional left back for them for 2 years, to be honest with you. Saka found it difficult. Nathaniel Klein's experience at right back and the centre back, I don't want to get his surname wrong. Is it Gay? He is called up for England. Anderson's experienced.
Gallagher on Partey was brilliant.
Yeah, he just pestered them the whole game. They pressed brilliantly. But even with the first goal, I don't know what you guys think, but I think Tavares could have done a lot better. A lot better for that first goal.
Oh, I think it was Gabriel that could have done better as well.
Yeah, he just missed the header. But yeah, it wasn't. Like I said, I think we got worse from when they even got the goal. And they could have got even a couple more.
Is there anything positive to talk about that first half? Is there if you had to give a man of the match to any of our 11 in that first half, I don't think I could call one, if I'm honest.
No chance. I think the only saving grace from tonight, the only player that can come out of it with a little bit of, I don't want to say pride, it sounds really, really cringy, but Sambi Lokonga I thought was really good when he came on. but like I'm really clutching at straws there because there were
Yeah.
very few players that I thought were any good. Ben White was okay, but I mean, he was part of a defence that conceded 3 goals. So again, clutching at straws. I think, yeah, like I say, the only one that I thought was fairly decent was Lokonga.
I've actually given man of the match, well, boy of the match, to the little boy at half time that scored a penalty and told the crowd at Palace to shush. It was brilliant. He's my little boy of the match, that's for sure, because no one else deserves it, I'm afraid. It is concerning, isn't it? We all know, and we all knew, and we've said on this show that there are going to be ups and downs. We are not going to win every game. We've had the most amazing run. Apart from Liverpool, we had a fantastic run. We came back great at Villa. And then we have this bloody international break that I think has not helped us at all. So I don't know what else we can say. I mean, James, in your opinion, where did it all go wrong?
I don't think you can put it on just one thing. I mean, I think it's a collective issue that happened tonight. I think it's it's a mindset thing as well. This team is, as good as they are, I think we do forget how young they are, and obviously atmospheres like tonight. I mean, Selhurst Park is such an intimidating place to go.
Yeah.
One of those old school grounds where the fans are right in your face. Place is buzzing from minute 1 to minute 90. It's an intimidating place to go for a young team, and that shouldn't really be an excuse. But I mean, it does get in your heads. Obviously, when you've got 35 odd thousand people screaming for the opposition team, obviously it's going to have some sort of mental impact on you. I just think we didn't rise to the occasion. You had players coming back from international duty. Gabriel's just had a baby. Things like this, like all these little things coming together and just all round culminating in what was just a dire performance. But like I said, I don't want to get too down in the dumps about it, because although it was really bad tonight, although it was really reminiscent of the really poor football we saw under Arsene Wenger towards the end, we have come back from what I was saying, these exact same things when we lost to Everton. And we came back and, weeks later, we put in that unbelievable performance against Man City. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we can put another run together. The only concern for me is we've got to go to West Ham away, Spurs away, Chelsea away. And if we play anything remotely close to that, we will lose all 3 of those games. And that's a fact. We can't put in those sort of performances in those games. Those games are now massive for us going away.
The thing is, a fact is as well, James, it's still in our hands. I know we've got a game in hand. I know we're clutching at straws. We all know Tottenham have got an easier run in. All my Tottenham friends have said they're now convinced after yesterday that they're going to get 4th. They looked at this game tonight and said, you're not going to beat Palace. I sort of sat there and sort of agreed in my head. We know. But it's so Arsenal to turn it around in the next couple of matches. As you know, we go to the Emirates on Saturday at 3:00 and play Brighton. If we can't beat Brighton, we don't deserve 4th. That's how I feel. Albert, second half, one of the pundits or someone said to me that when Partey was trying to come off, that's when they scored their 3rd goal. Why didn't he just lump the ball off? Why didn't someone just kick the ball off and Partey to go down and go off? Because he's injured. And I mean, I know I'm not clutching at straws at all. We didn't serve a thing tonight. But in the second half, we did have chances, didn't we, Albert?
Yeah, there's a couple of chances with ESR and I forgot the other person. I think Ødegaard. Yeah, the ESR chance was he just didn't get it wide enough for the keeper, and he was quite rushed. So it's unfortunate because you can if you want to be ruthless, you could say, well, he needs to do better, but the Ødegaard chance was a much better chance. He actually double hit it when you look to the replay. But just going back quickly, the second goal we conceded, Amanda. Oh my God! I mean, you know what? Gabriel's obviously, if he's going to go for that ball, he's got to win it. He didn't win it. But Tavares was absolutely sleeping. Like, you've got to be on the cover quicker than that. But fast forwarding back to obviously the second half, I see what you're saying about the Partey thing, but.
Yeah, Phil's saying that hasn't Partey done that before, just walked off. Thanks, Phil, for your comment. Yeah.
Now, even, what, we had it with lead up to the 3rd goal was to give away the penalty. That was just stupid, in my opinion, because Wilf Zaha's got to do a lot to score a goal from there. And you got the 2 centre-backs there in Gabriel and Ben White. I don't know why Ødegaard's trying to make contact in the box, because if Zaha's going to, when he gets fouled, he's he's not that he's going to go down in that position, but
he always goes down.
Yeah, it was a foul, but yeah, you gave. It's a soft one to give away. You didn't need to make that tackle in the box there.
He did it against United, though, didn't he? We've seen this before. Exact same challenge.
Twice.
But do you know what, boys? And I was saying this before. I don't know if you're going to agree with me on Ødegaard. I absolutely love Ødegaard. No, fantastic. He's with us. But when he has a bad game, he has a bloody stinker of a game. I don't know if you noticed this. He never has an okayish game. He's either superb or he has a stinker. Do you agree with me, James, or not?
I think he can become a bit of a passenger. And I think that was what we saw quite often throughout his loan spell. And I think that, that was him getting used to the league. And I think sometimes it was to be expected. But we've seen it not too often this season. We've seen it in unfortunate patches. The United game. Well, actually, no, saying that, I think he scored in the United game, so I don't want to reference that. But there were certainly some games earlier on in the season where he struggled to get into it. And I think Palace did a really good number on him. Not just him, but on Partey. If you nullify Ødegaard, you nullify Partey,
100%.
You nullify Arsenal. And if any other team can do that, then we're in trouble, because those are two of our most influential players at the moment. And Partey and Ødegaard have got such a good chemistry, such a good link. There will be teams that try to do it and will have the quality to overthrow those sides. But Palace, in the way they did it with the likes of Conor Gallagher and Jeffrey Schlupp, they played a very simple game tonight, but they played it really, really well. And I think that is a concern, because he can be phased out of games. But more often than not, he has influenced more games than he's been phased out of this season. So I'm not going to get too hung up on it, too worried about it. I think we've seen this before from him after an international break. So all we can hope for is a man of the match game against Brighton.
Yeah, it's true. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. You're watching the Always Arsenal show, Always Arsenal post-game show, number 4. 3 out of 4 we've won, and the 4th we haven't. It had to happen. Please press like if you want us to get 4th. Please press like. And subscribe to the Same Old Arsenal channel, because I've got some really, really great shows coming up. Hopefully some good post-game shows where we win as well.
Cool.
Okay, so it's tough, isn't it? It's a real tough one. When you've lost a game, the last thing you want to do is come on a show, smile sweetly, and discuss what's happened, because it's so stressful at the moment, because we're watching United's games, we're watching Tottenham's games, and we're looking at run-ins and can we get 4th and can we do it? I've not really asked you this question, but James, do you think we can get 4th? Did you think we could get 4th before tonight? And have you changed your mind now?
I don't think tonight's a night to be focusing too much on top 4, just because I'm more concerned about the performance we put in and the players that we're potentially going to miss through injury. And also, I think the Tavares issue is potentially a cause for concern as well, because
massive.
Who plays at left back now if we're not going to play Tavares?
But you did a really good tweet. Tell everyone your tweet, James, because Cole said the same thing.
What one? I tweeted so much rubbish throughout that game.
Who goes left back? And Cedric.
I honestly I can't call it. If this is a huge if Tomiyasu is back for Brighton, I would not be surprised if we saw Tomiyasu come in at right back and we saw Cedric go to left back, because Cedric was fine almost all the time when he played at left back, and I wouldn't have too much of an issue with that either, because he has been relatively solid. He's been more than solid in the time that he's been in. That's an understatement. So I don't know. I still think there will be games where he gets exposed playing at left back, if that is to happen. But I really wouldn't be surprised if Arteta did that. The alternative is play Saka there and nullify his threat going forwards, play Xhaka there and you nullify his influence in midfield. So I think that's probably one of the most obvious solutions we've got. Or we give Tavares another shot against Brighton. But I think based on him coming off against Forest after 35 minutes or whatever it was, coming off tonight at half-time, I just think I feel bad for the guy, because if we were in any sort of cup competition, if we were still in the FA Cup, if we were still in the Europa League, he'd be getting minutes. And you've got to look back to earlier on this season where he was keeping Tierney out of the team. So this isn't a guy that's rubbish. He is a guy that has bags of potential. We went to Liverpool with him as our starting left back, and Tierney was on the bench. So it does show that, we did lose that game 4-0, but he was at that time playing well and was in the team, and we were looking at all the good things he does bring to this Arsenal side. I do still think there are parts of his game that he has that Tierney necessarily doesn't. But at this moment, where he's so cold coming into the team, I just think it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to give him a loan next season because he's 22 years old. He needs regular football, and I'm not sure if he's going to get that at Arsenal. So, in terms of left-back situation, if Tomiyasu is fit, like I say, it's a huge if because I just have no idea what's going on with the guy.
He's close, isn't it?
He's close, but we've been hearing this for ages.
We haven't needed him, really, have we? I thought he was on the bench the other day, wasn't he not?
No, I don't think so.
Was I wrong?
No, I don't. I mean, we keep hearing that he's close. He's in training with the first team. I feel like we've been hearing this for weeks, but he's just nowhere to be seen.
Well, he's going to have to because we've got 9 more cup finals. So Ant CL1082, thanks for your comment. Tavares is okay at the Emirates. Looks nervous away from home. Hopefully improves with experience. This is a problem, isn't it, Albert? This is a problem because we're going to need him if Tomiyasu's not fit.
And that's the thing. I see people mentioning in the comments, and not even just tonight, just defensively, man. I mean, tonight was again highlighted. He just doesn't switch on when he's supposed to, and it's not the first time, and that's a huge problem because as much as you want your fullbacks to be influential, being offensive to work in Arteta's system, and pushing high up, you also got to do the other side of the job as well, which is to defend. I mean, for me again, Tyrick Mitchell's a perfect example of that. Loves defending. I'm not sure Tavares has that in his game yet. James makes a good point. Maybe it will be a case of he needs to go on loan. But with the Tomiyasu thing, I mean, I said to you, I think the first time I came on and done a post-match review, man, did that with Tomiyasu at the time. Don't rush him back. We've got a lot of games for him to come back in. So if they say he is close, he's back in training, then he should be back in the team for the next couple of games. I was even surprised to see Ramsdale start because from the rumors that you were hearing, that he might just be, this game might just come a bit too soon. But then he was in tonight. But listen, James, you make a good plausible point. Listen, if it comes to it, if Tomiyasu is ready, then you can play Cedric at left back. Because ideally, yes, Xhaka can fill in there, but you don't want him playing there. You do not want Granit Xhaka at left back.
No.
Particularly at this point of the season as well.
The only thing I will say about Xhaka at left back is he tries his hardest. Even if he messes up, at least he goes there without any problems and he just gets on with the job and tries his best. And I want to just talk about Xhaka a second. Xhaka got booked. Yeah, I don't know how you say his name. Mateta? Is it Mateta? Mateta. Because I kept thinking Arteta, yeah. Mateta.
He's a handful, man.
Yeah, Mateta. 5 fouls, not 1 yellow card. It's just insane to me that Xhaka will do 1. And it's constant all the time, isn't it? Moving on. Okay. So Mikel Arteta gets the Manager of the Month award. Everyone says it's a curse. Does anyone believe in this or not?
Was it a curse the first time round? When he got it back in September? Yeah, he's got it twice this season, hasn't he?
Has he? I don't remember. Yeah,
I think they made that. Yeah, it's the first. He said the first time since Wenger, many years ago, to get it twice in them.
But he fully deserved it, and we have to go on what he did. So, James, moving forward, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring some of the comments in from the chat. So get all your questions ready for James and Albert. And even if you want to ask me a quick question, I don't mind answering. Let's talk about moving forward. So 9 games left. We face the Seagulls on Saturday at 3:00. For me now, it's all about the response. It is all about what happens on Saturday. And although Brighton are not a Liverpool or a City, we could have problems in defence, as we said, with Cedric, with Tavares, Tierney out. We don't know what's going to happen to Partey. We have no idea. And we know that our squad is very thin. So, James, give me a quick what you feel about Saturday and who you would play up front as well.
I don't feel confident about Saturday. I'll say that. It'd be wrong to feel confident after what we just saw. I think it depends on, we have to win. That's a given, but it's how we win for me. If we win the game 1-0 and we scrape by, I'm not going to be feeling good about things. I'll be happy that we've won, don't get me wrong, but if we put in a performance where, we don't look good, but we somehow get a deflected goal off Shane Duffy or something, then I'm not going to be too pleased with that. I really want to see us, rectify what went wrong tonight, put in a really good performance. I'm not asking for 5-6-0, but I'd be happy with just a 1-0, but we played really well and we could have scored 4 or 5, or just a 2-0 routine victory. I'd be absolutely fine with that. It's just a case of righting the wrongs that happened this evening. And I think that's, I don't think that's easier said than done. We've got all the capabilities to beat Brighton at home. That's for sure. They're a team that are bang out of form. They can barely get points on the board at the minute. They're so poor at the moment.
A buffer,
they've got their flip-flops on. They're not going to go down. They're not going to do anything else this season, really. So, they've not really got anything to worry about. So there's no excuses not to win this game. I'm certainly worried about the defence, because without Tierney, it's just remains to be seen who'll play at left back. And I do worry about the striking options, to be honest. Like, it's interesting that you mentioned who's going to play up front.
Going to get there a second. There's a question, actually. Carry on talking and I'll find it. It's really about the front. It is a worry. I looked at that tonight, James, and I thought, it just makes me feel uneasy when Martinelli's not on the pitch. I know Saka and ESR are top goal scorers, but for some reason, I feel like we'll have a goal scorer on the pitch when Martinelli's there. Albert, do you get what I'm saying with this or not?
No, I agree, because with Martinelli particularly, it gives you that spark and that energy. Big up to the people in the chat, and you just mentioned it, Amanda, in terms of the squad being threadbare. Like this is, if we knew this was the case, man. And January could come back to bite us on the arse and not actually, strengthen the depth of the squad more so. It could come back to bite us. And one of my biggest issues with the Arsenal, particularly in the last few years, has been the strike. Has actually been up top. We're not ruthless enough. Like I said, I've said it before and I say it again. He's got some very good attributes, but there's going to be games in the Premier League where you don't get many chances to put the ball in the back of the net, and we don't have a front man that can do that. We don't. And that's not, like I said, it is what it is with him. He's not going to be the man to get you the important goals. So it's a massive worry. And the injuries, look, they can stack up, man. From the way Arteta was speaking about Tierney, it doesn't sound like it's a slight knock. So listen, it could come back to bite us, man. People said it for a while, man. That the squad is threadbare.
Yeah.
And any couple of injuries, now you see.
Exactly, and we've all known that, but we are where we are, Albert, and we just have to deal with it. As I said, 9 games left. I just was trying to find that. Phil Macker's I put the comment up. We certainly look lively with Martinelli on. That's what 100%. I meant. He came on and made that difference, didn't he, in the second half? James, it's like we're becoming a one-man team up front. I know ESR and Saka, I get that, but it's like I felt better when he was on the pitch. Do you get what I mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Lacazette helped our cause tonight. And this isn't the first time I don't
think anyone did.
We've seen it from Lacazette in particular. I mean, the amount of times he was caught offside, those 2 headers that he placed, I don't even know how he managed to put those headers over the bar.
No.
It was harder to do that than it was to put him in the net. He was toothless tonight. He was so poor, and it's not the first time it's happened this season. It won't be the last. Guarantee that. I think if there was ever a game to trial Martinelli up front with Smith Rowe, Ødegaard, and Saka in the team, Saturday is the game to do that.
Yeah.
If it's not working at half time, then you've got Lacazette on the bench. I just want to see those 4 playing together, because it just screams chaos, and I just want to see it work. I don't know if it will work. We've seen it before, and it's not really beared the fruits that we want it to, and we would probably miss the hold up play that Lacazette brings. But I feel like we're playing in a way now where we need players to be making runs and getting into goal scoring positions more than we need them to be holding up the ball. Don't get me wrong, there are times where we do need that, and we do need that link up, but I think Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka and Martinelli all know each other's game so well now that they can do that 1-touch, 2-touch stuff, and it can be really intricate. So I would really like to see that against Brighton. I highly doubt it'll be the case, but we have to find a way of trying to phase Lacazette out of the team, as harsh as that sounds, because we need, I think, all 4 of those players on the pitch. If we're going to get top 4 this season, need to find a way of shoehorning them in.
Well, interestingly, though, going back to the comment you made before about Brighton, you're not confident. I'm really confident for Saturday. I really am confident. I think they're going to come out, as the pun says, all guns blazing. Albert, how are you feeling about 3:00 Saturday?
Well, in my predictions, the 10 Cup finals, I said we beat Brighton. Brighton are a very good footballing side under Graham Potter, but their issue for about 2.5, 3 years is they cannot score goals.
Yeah.
And that's their biggest problem.
Excuse me.
So I do think we'll beat them. I think it'll be tight, but I think we will beat them. Like I said, I know we're not obviously free flowing in terms of scoring goals, but Brighton have just kind of fallen off a cliff in terms of their performances and results. And like I said, I think we will get it done. It'd be interesting to see what the team lineup will be, obviously taking into account the injury count and who's potentially coming back and players who are not performing maybe to the standard Arteta wants. But I'm more confident about beating Brighton than I was about Arsenal getting the result tonight.
Okay, so I've got some responses from post-game from Arteta. Arteta to Sky Sports, we have to apologise to our supporters. We have to put our hands up. Me first. We were not good enough today. And tomorrow we look in the mirror and start to prepare the next game. Arteta on Partey, I don't know, but he felt something in the same area that he got injured previously. So that's a big concern. On Tavares, today it was just a tactical reason. How could we attack and control much better in that position? I'm sorry that it was Nuno again, but we had to do it. Arteta on Tierney, he's seeing a specialist tomorrow and we'll know more the extent of the injury. The feeling that he had wasn't positive and the scans either.
Yeah, that's
on
not great.
No, we all know that. We won't see him this season. Arteta on if he's worried about Spurs. No, we have a game in hand still. In the 9 games, a lot will happen. We have to focus on ourselves. Right, so this is what he's saying. Arteta on the lack of options in the squad. It's what we have. We lost Kieran, we lost Thomas now, and that's it. With the players that we have, we will try. Since the start of the season, we've not had a big squad. We can't have any excuses. Arteta on the game. Yes, especially in the first half. Congrats to Palace, but we weren't at the races today. We didn't earn the right to play. When we did, we were slow on the ball. We conceded 2 poor goals. Overall, it's unacceptable. We apologise, regroup, and tomorrow is a new day. And that's why I love my manager. He just comes out and takes the blame, says the players weren't up to it, apologises to the supporters and moves on. And I want to talk about the supporters, actually. Crystal Palace's ground, I've been quite a few times, is amazing atmosphere. It's very hard for the away fans to be heard, and I didn't really hear them. And that's not detrimental to our fans, who have been phenomenal this season. But towards the end, I heard them singing, because they've got the same song for Patrick Vieira that we've got for Mikel Arteta. And they were singing Mikel Arteta's name. I am so proud of them for doing that, losing 3-0, absolutely atrocious performance, that our fans come out and sing that. I'm very proud of them for doing that, because the fan base, as you know, whether you're on social media, at the Emirates, in the pubs, in America, in Nigeria, in Australia, everyone talks about whether they want Arteta to sign a contract, to stay, to go. I don't want to focus on that, because I get so many tweets at the end of a match going, Arteta out, Arteta out. There's some in the comments that I'm really sorry. It's my show and I'm not putting them up, because I don't want this to be about that. We've had a bad day at the office. I didn't see all you Arteta outs in the last 10 games when we've won 9 of them or whatever it is. So let's just get behind it. Yes, it was a horrible performance. Yes, it was a bad day at the office. It's going to happen. We've got the youngest team in the Premier League. I think, actually, I don't want to say that stat in case I'm wrong. We've got a very young team in the Premier League, and it's going to happen. So, James, before I go to the questions, just give me a prediction for Saturday.
2-0. Nuno Tavares, both goals.
Oh, now give me your prediction again.
No, I'm serious. 2-0. I don't know who scored a goal.
Maybe not the goal. Maybe not the goal scorer. Yeah, but
oh, it's brilliant. Albert.
Yeah, it has. It does have a 2-0 about it. I agree. It does. It does add that feeling. Like I said, if Brighton score, will I be shocked? Probably, to be honest. Yeah, because they don't score many goals. But yeah, 2-0 sounds about right. You know. Yeah, I'd go for 2-0 as well. Okay,
so I'm going 3-1 on Saturday. I didn't make a prediction today because I hate making predictions when I've got a feeling we're going to lose. I don't like doing it. Okay, so let me just go to the group and see. A lot of it is not good. Right, let's see this. Where are we?
Tommy, my guy, man.
Tommy, welcome to the show. Tom VI79. I thought Partey was very poor tonight. He kept giving the ball away. We will def beat Brighton. If the boys don't come out Saturday giving it everything, I'd be very surprised, especially after tonight. Tommy, if you were listening when I said that, it's exactly what I think is going to happen. I'm really sorry for cutting off Albert's face with your comments, but you can still hear him, so we're all good. Yeah, that's what exactly. I agree. I thought Partey was poor, but maybe he was carrying something before, whatever on that. Okay, so this is a common theme. Woolwich Nomad. January will come back to bite us hard. You mark my words. No incomings and too many outgoings. Yes, I get what you're saying. James, do you feel like that with the fact that we didn't sign anyone in January?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. If there wasn't a player there that's going to improve this squad, then I can completely understand why we haven't gone for it. I mean, going back so many years, would you want Kim Kallstrom coming into the team and doing a job tonight? No, probably you wouldn't. There's a lot of players you could potentially sign in January that are going to contribute to the type of performance we saw tonight. I just think, for the sake of getting numbers in, it's just not worth it. And if you're able to give someone like Flores, who was on the bench tonight, an opportunity, I'm not entirely against that, even though it doesn't always seem the most logical choice on paper. So I think in terms of outgoings, yeah, I get that. But again, I look at the players that we sent out on loan, and I think, apart from maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who could slot in at left back, even him, I wouldn't be entirely convinced by. I don't think there's anyone that we've sent out on loan that I think, the likes of Pablo Mari, does he start tonight? I don't think so. I don't think you can make a case for any of the outgoing players to be starting in this Arsenal team. I just think from a numbers perspective, yeah, it doesn't look good, but you've got to think in terms of where we're going. You don't want to just throw anyone in there. You don't want to buy players for the sake of buying players. I can't go into too much detail now because I don't think that's the root cause of tonight's result.
Okay, Albert, do you agree with that? Can you add anything further?
I think when people do say that, I think it's not just off the back of tonight. It just goes back to the 1st of January. Injuries are going to happen during the season, and more so particularly because in the last couple of years with COVID and even you're missing games because of that. But no, I get it. I think the issue is with that is I think where we had so many outgoings, yes, you can question whether they would have been first team starters. That's another debate, but where there was so many is a very different kind of strategy from a transfer window point of view. I've never seen anything like it. To have so many players outgoing and you don't bring nobody in. No disrespect to the 2 American guys who brought in the goalkeeper and the centre back. But I get the comment, but I think for me more so, I said that Arsenal wouldn't get top 4 if they don't address in terms of the striking issues and scoring more goals. And I kind of still stand by that, to be honest, because as much as the defense has improved this season with 13 clean sheets, scoring goals wins you matches.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you for your comment. Carl Stark, thank you for joining the show. Do we have a huge problem if Partey is out for a long period, James?
Yes, 100%. And I hope that's really not the case. I thought, like I said earlier, I thought Lokonga was good when he came on, but the way Partey has influenced games, the way he's just absolutely rolled midfielders recently, he's been so influential to the way we're playing. To lose him, I think you'd notice a considerable drop-off in some of the other players in the team because I think he's bringing the best out of those around him. I certainly think he's improving Xhaka's game, he's improving Ødegaard's game and playing at the base of that midfield diamond, almost not diamond, triangle. He's playing some really good football there. Tonight was certainly an off game. Like you mentioned, he could have been carrying something. If he's out for a sustained period, that will worry me enormously. But you look at the games we've got coming up: Brighton at home, Southampton away. I don't know if we could just scrape by with the Conga in there potentially. I think we could. I don't think that game against Southampton is a given. I think that'll be a very tough game, similar to the one tonight. But I think it's more winnable than the one tonight. Hopefully he's not out for a couple of weeks, like any more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It is, isn't it, Albert? We don't want him out for a long period of time, do we?
Yeah, Carl, you should have put that huge in capital letters, man.
Huge problem.
You know what? Like when when they showed that clip of him, he looked like he was barely walking. I was like, oh my god, just get him, just get him off.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hope it isn't long term. That's the thing. Is look at our midfield. Like the midfield was a concern for a lot of people in terms of the quality of it. Probably even began back to the start of the season, for example. But Sambi obviously played a lot of games in the beginning where he said himself, like, I didn't think I'd play as many games as I would. But you know what? We may have to, in terms of just numbers, and if Partey's not fit, he's going to feature a bit more, like he did at the beginning of the season, Sambi Lukonga. So, listen, it's the crunch time of the season, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would say to a lot of the Arsenal fans is, and I know it's difficult, and particularly when you add the social media aspect, people just lose their minds.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and you mentioned a good point, Amanda, in terms of the whole Arteta out thing. I've done on my channel to see people come in even after wins. Like I'm like, what is going on? Are you happy if we lose games of football? Yeah. I don't know what.
Well, there is that, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's a weird scenario because obviously I'm so much older than all of you, and when we were in the 80s, when we had Terry Neal, Don Howe, God, who was the other manager I was thinking of? Terry Neal, Don Howe. No, it was those two.
Yeah,
we didn't have social media, but I guarantee you now we would have all wanted him out. And then when they got George Graham in, they wouldn't have been happy. But you see, look what he did.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger. No one. I did not even really heard of him. I didn't even know who he was. So if there is a case for sometimes I laugh at social media. When you actually go to the game, it's a very different atmosphere to that. But it's really interesting. There's another point Mikel Arteta's just said, and this is very true. And this is what I'm saying. The response is really important. He said, this is an opportunity to see when we talk about unity, if you are on board. When everything goes well, everyone wants to be there. So who's now going to stand up? Who's going to come out on social media and apologise? Who's going to come out on Saturday and give their all? And every single one of those players on that pitch need to up their performance, don't they? There isn't anyone I can sit here saying that. Jay Muller's got a question for you. Guys, do you think it's time for Nketiah to replace Laka? And he says, I can't believe I'm even saying this. Thanks for your question, Jay.
Wow. Well, Arteta likes him. That's the thing. I know he's not featured a lot this season, but
does he like him or does he have a choice?
He's still. I mean, he's given him a fair number. He's given him a fair number of games since he's been here. Arteta, he showed mad faith in him. It's a big call to make, but you're replacing a guy who's not scoring goals with a guy that hasn't scored any. It's a terrible conundrum, to be honest. If you think about it, it's awful. In a very important part of the pitch. As much as, to be fair, like I said, with the contributing like goals by committee sort of thing with Saka and ESR, listen, if they end up getting double figures for the season, to me they've done their bit, 100%. Because we've moaned for years and years that, strikers getting the goals, but we're not getting goals from other areas. They've contributed in that, in terms of, you probably want Ødegaard getting a few more, but Martinelli and Ødegaard and Saka and ESR, they have contributed in terms of goals. They have. They probably would have more assists if we finished off some of the chances in previous games. But you know what, James, it's a good question, I'll get the last bit of the question 100%. Even I don't know. Maybe you do.
I think for me, it would be Martinelli.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be looking to put Nketiah in. I know he came on tonight and had that unbelievable shot where he hit the bar. But aside from that, I think he was good in the period where he came on against Wolves and he contributed, got the assist with Pepe's goal. That's where I saw the best of Eddie Nketiah. But for me, we're going to lose him in the summer. I don't think he's dedicated to being here. I don't think the club are dedicated to keeping him on. With 9 games to go, is he really a guy you want to be leading the Arsenal front line in a bid for top 4? Not for me. It'd be Martinelli for me.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do a couple of more questions and then we'll come to a close. Okay, another question from Carl Stark, who I would like to thank for all the quotes on Arteta. And there's one more. We have to apologise to our supporters and accept the criticism. I think that says it all. I'm pleased he's coming out and not making any excuses about Poor refereeing. Saka, we haven't even
Yeah.
discussed whether it was a penalty or not. I don't think it was a penalty. I think theirs was a penalty. Ours wasn't. But God forbid you say that on social media. It's hilarious. Ours was. No, I don't think ours was. And I'd have been a bit upset if it had been given against us. Do you two agree with that? Or did you think it was a pen? Okay, you didn't, yeah.
I don't think it's a penalty, no.
James?
Don't know. It's 50-50. I mean, yeah, if it had gone against us, I would have not been shocked in the slightest. But the fact, it's not gone for us, I'm also not shocked in the slightest. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
So Carl's question after I've thanked him. Ben White to right back, Rob Holding in the centre and Cedric to left back if 10 were not fit. What do you think, Albert?
Good shout. I know I'm not Rob's biggest fan. I know some people are, but you know what you need sometimes, Amanda, you need options.
Yeah.
We are threadbare, but we in some areas do have a little bit of options. So yeah, listen, it's plausible. We bought Ben White for a lot of money and he's done well at centre half, but he can play at right back as well. Why not?
Okay. Thank you, Carl Stark. One of the last questions. Sylvester Cole makes a good point. Thanks, Sylvester. Welcome to the show. Since we always get ahead of ourselves when we have a bit of runs, top 4 was certain. Is the top 6 failure? This is a big thing that a lot of people are discussing. And I'll say this again and again and again. When I walked out of the Etihad on the second game of the season, and we were beyond terrible. I was just praying that we'd get the same position or a slightly better. To see where we are now, and if you look at the table now, goal difference behind Spurs with a game in hand, we would have all thought we were mad that we would have even been in this position at this stage. Yeah. So there is a case that we've overachieved. James, do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, we spoke about it when we were chatting last week with Gunner Blog. I mean, if we were to get Champions League, arguably we would be ahead of schedule. I mean, when you look at it on the face of it, we bought so many new signings in last summer, got so many young players for them to all glue together in such a short period of time and to get top 4, you can't say that wouldn't be an achievement. And I still think, even though we are behind Spurs at the minute, it is still in our hands. We've got that game in hand, albeit it's away at Chelsea. We've got to play Spurs as well. We've got United at home, which I think if we play our A game, we can certainly beat them. We've got tough games, but at the moment, tonight aside, it is very much still in our hands. We've spoken on this pod and already we're putting tonight to the back of our minds. If the players can think in the same way, then go out there, blitz Brighton, and hopefully we're back on the road to recovery. But like I say, it's the injuries that are the concern for me. And if we were to get top 6, I don't think that'd be a failure. I still think, there's hell of a lot of good things to come out of this team. I suppose it would be how we got top 6. Like I say, it's like how you lose games of football. If we play really well, but unfortunately lose some games and we miss out just by a couple of points or even on goal difference, and we end up coming 5th or 6th, whatever it may be, then you still can't deny that that's progress. So obviously, it doesn't sound good saying this out loud, but these are building blocks. If we can get that striker in the summer, if we can get another midfielder in, then we're in a really good position next season. And to be in some form of Europe, albeit if it's the Europa League, it won't be what we all want. But we weren't there this season, so it is progress in its smallest form. But just to clarify, reiterate, and really ramp home, Champions League is in our hands, but we have to win on Saturday, and we can certainly still do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to end on a positive comment, but Albert, overachieved? I don't know anyone, I'm being honest about this, that said, let's go for Champions League this year. We've got the squad to do it. That, to me, was going to be next year or even possibly the year after. Building a squad takes time. Transformations, you know what I mean? What's that word I'm thinking of? But just ignore me. But it does take time, doesn't it, to build a squad and to go from what we had to what we are now.
Yeah, Arteta's he's lucky in the sense that he's been given the time. A lot of ex-pundits have come out and said that. I think Michael Owen said it. Michael Richards has said it recently as well. You know what it is? I think that you're right. It's been a topic of debate on. I've seen many sort of shows and channels in regards to failure and top six. And I mean, I never had Arsenal in the top four running at all. Me personally, I didn't. And I said the reason why that wouldn't happen, I mentioned it earlier, is in terms of I'm not sure we've got enough goals in the team to get us there. Even though we've improved defensively, but I think if Arsenal get 6. In black and white, it is an improvement if you're just thinking in terms of league table position.
But I can hear you're going to sound disappointed.
No, I was going to say, but I can see why people are going to say it's a failure because obviously the way the season has panned out. But as James mentioned, it is in our hands. And I think one key thing a lot of people got to remember is this season has seen some unbelievable results. And it can change very, very quickly. I mean, let me look at the game at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. If any betting man in their entire, if they're being serious, even the most ardent betting people, they would not have gone for Brentford 4-1 away win.
Never.
But results like that can happen.
To add to that, though, Andy Love, a win against Brighton and Spurs, losing to Villa would change it all around again. Exactly what you're saying, Albert.
That's the key thing people have to remember. I don't get too caught up in the hashtags on social media. Listen, there's 9 cup finals to go in it. If anybody, like you mentioned it, Amanda, earlier, there's no way any Arsenal fan, they're honest, even with the recent run of results, that Arsenal are going to go through the next 9-10 games with no defeats.
No, it's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. But other teams around us, that's the thing. In the running we've got West Ham. I think we'll get a draw there personally. We've got United and we've got Chelsea.
Villa won't be easy for Tottenham.
No, that's what I'm saying. So Arsenal.
Remember, Albert, if we beat Brighton, we go above them because they don't play till later that night.
And then a draw there would be fine.
Yeah, of course. Let Tottenham draw the next games until they play us.
Yeah.
But yes, Tommy, that's what I meant. Transition. Thank you. You knew what I meant. Transition, not transformation. It's late. We've lost. I'm upset. Boys, I don't think there's much else to discuss about tonight.
No. We move on.
I'd love to. I love the fact that you still wanted to come on and you've given us a great show. Both of you have been fantastic. Everyone in the chat's been fantastic as well. It is what it is, everyone.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Right, so Saturday, Brighton, we all predict a win. We're all hoping it's going to be a win. Really appreciate you all joining us tonight and all your comments. Sorry I haven't been able to put everything up, but I really, really appreciate it and all the support you've given this show. It's fantastic. I've got a little treat for you lot coming up. I had to postpone it last week because I had COVID and I didn't do any shows last week. And my voice is virtually back, so I'm ready.
It is.
I'm a bit coffee. 8 o'clock this Thursday, I've got Arsenal's photographer coming on, Stuart McLean. Oh, sorry, it's McLean. I was thinking McFarlane. Sorry, Stu. I'm glad he probably won't be watching this.
Hope he's not watching this.
No, he won't. I'm not. Stuart McFarlane's coming on Thursday night. And boy, I don't even know where to start with how many questions I've got for him. I just want him to talk and tell us stories. And Albert, when Gunner Blog was on with James and I last week, 2 weeks ago, he said, I've got to ask him about the Abui story. So you can just imagine the amount of information and stories that are going to come out on Thursday night on this show. So 8 o'clock, join me and Stuart McFarlane, and I promise you it's going to be all about him, we're not going to discuss tonight or anything else, just all his stories and wonderful photos over the years and everything. Boys, thank you so much. James, tell everyone how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, just before I go, seen a lot of negative stuff in the comments.
Oh,
I think, I have. I've seen a lot of people feeling a bit downbeat.
It happens.
Look, we've lost one game. We played really, really well up until now. We're going to win on Saturday. Chin up. It's all going to be good. Follow me on Twitter for fantastic and terrible insights at JECook96. Mostly terrible.
Albert, how can everyone find you?
Firstly, thanks again for having me on, Amanda.
Oh, you're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Thank you for coming on.
Echo what James said. Listen, the game it's done, man. Like, you can't go over and over it. Like, we've got another important 9 games to come, man. So we move on, man. We move. #we move. But yeah, thank you for having me on. Yes, I have my own channel, and follow me on Twitter at aumo57, or just type in Albert JTV, you'll find me.
And Albert, I'm coming on your show, aren't I, in a couple of weeks?
You are. This is going to be a different kind of show. Life stories. Amanda's making the appearance. Come on, Amanda.
Life stories.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about my favourite game, because every time anyone asks me that, I always get told off for saying, I haven't even mentioned it tonight. I'm not going to mention it. Please hit the like bottom. This is what happens when I've watched a game of football and it's nearly 11 o'clock at night. Please hit the like button. It is Stuart McFarlane. I will not forget his name on Thursday. Thank you for everyone in the comments for that. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. It's always Arsenal. Regardless of anything, it's always Arsenal, whether we win, lose or draw. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night's sleep. And let's hope on Saturday we beat the Seagulls.